I mean, if I was Jennifer Garner and I saw that interview, I would be like furious. Hi and welcome to Folsom Talk. I'm Kersti Flo, and here on my channel, I talk about my good and bad experiences working in Hollywood as a reporter. And as you know, a lot about the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively legal feud. So this weekend, I posted my second episode of my new podcast, and a lot of you found it, but a lot of people didn't find it because I did upload it in a different way. I did something that I wasn't supposed to do, I think. So a lot of people missed it. So if you did miss it, I would really appreciate if you check it out. I will leave a link below. I'm talking a lot about beauty standards in Hollywood and what really, really upsets me about it. And yeah, and thank you to everyone who did watch it and gave me a lot of feedback. It was really, really inspiring to read all your comments. So thank you so, so much. All right. So yesterday I was doing a little research on YouTube, and then all of a sudden this video popped up, and I was like, I was pretty shocked. So this was an interview that was done for the movie The Town. I think it was in 2014. It's like 11 years ago now. As you may know, Ben Affleck was directing that film and Blake Lively was in it. She was starring in it with Jeremy Renner as well. And the three of them were interviewed together, which I hadn't seen before. I'd never found an interview with Blake Lively and Ben Affleck together. As you know, there were a lot of speculations if there was anything going on between Blake Lively and Ben Affleck on the set of this movie. And a lot of people have speculated if that's the reason why Ben Affleck's marriage didn't work out. And when I watched this video, I have to say, first of all, taking into consideration that Blake Lively started relationships with a lot of her co-stars in the past, when you watch the two of them together here, I'm just like, wow, I'm in no doubt. I'm just going to say allegedly because I can't say anything else, but just watch how Blake Lively reacts when she's asked about what it was like to shoot the sex scene in the movie the first day.
You know, nerve-wracking. It's your first day on set, you're doing your characters. It's there to tell a key part of the story in their relationship. And I was nervous the night before, and I remember talking to Jeremy. And so I thought, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. And he said, it's just all in the eyes. That was it.
That's all I ended up in the scene.
Yeah, just look at the eyes. And the way Ben Affleck said it back to her.
That was it.
That's all I ended up in the scene.
I'm like, come on. And then Jeremy Renner does this.
How do I literally get on top of him and have sex with him? Or maybe he has to get hard too, or somewhere in there. 15 seconds and done. I'm like, well, maybe. But at any rate, just go in and just, you know, if it takes you 20 minutes, just take 20 minutes, but go do it.
You worry about like the logistics of the physicality, but you forget like, oh, I just need to act. Mm-hmm. And he reminded me, you.
Yeah, did he know something was going on there? I'm like, come on, this is so obvious to me. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section if you think, I mean, this is the proof that they had something going on. There's been a lot of videos on YouTube about how Jennifer Garner can't stand Blake Lively after this movie. And yeah, now I get it. And I wonder if she had anything to do with the fact that they did no interviews together. It's the only one I could find of the two of them together. So yeah. Also, a lot of people have sent me this tip. Thank you so much. So Blake Lively was out and about again this weekend, and she went to a store where I think you can create your own like bags or something like that. And she brought some of her kids and her niece with her. And there were other people in that store, and one of them took to TikTok as soon as he got out of the store and reported on what it was like to be in that store with Blake Lively. And it was not nice. Page 6 picked it up saying that entitled Blake Lively blasted for horrible behavior on shopping outing. So rude. So this TikToker posted this video where she talks about how entitled Blake Lively is. She said it was honestly a horrible experience. I don't know how she has any fans anymore. First of all, we walked in and we're just like looking around. I didn't even notice Blake Lively at first. I'm just looking, shopping for my sister, and the way Lively's talking to the workers at the store was so rude. She was like, I want a fresh one of these, one that wasn't touched by any other customers. Is there a private bathroom?
The second we leave, excuse me, her security guard comes and stands in front of the door. And like now I'm at the corner of the street and the security guard is staring at me and I'm like, dude, I can't just look at a store, I can't just shop. Like, she's not the Queen of Sheba. Calm down. But anyways, if anyone's still a fan of Blake Lively, I think recheck your decision on that because she's not very nice to the common people.
Then she said that Lively was ignoring everyone, including her kids and her niece, as she chose the patches she wanted to add to her customized bag. Blake Lively proudly published photos of the bag that she made later, of course, on her Instagram. Yeah, why am I not surprised that Blake Lively was rude to the people in the store and rude to the people that were there? It's her. That's her trademark. But I do find it a bit surprising that she's doing it right now when everyone is watching her every little step. Like, why would you have to be rude and entitled in a situation like that when everything she's doing right now is trying to repair her damaged image? And then she walks into a store and are rude to the people that work there and rude to the other people in the store. It's just, again, another example of how incredibly delusional she is. Anyway, someone sent me this video of where probably Blake Lively got the idea that she is the mother of dragons. But before we get into that, I wanted to thank the sponsor of this video, which is honestly something that Magnus and I have been loving lately. It's called the Paired app. It's one of the most fun and low-pressure ways I've experienced so far for us as a couple to connect every single day. Paired is this beautifully designed relationship apps that gives you little prompts and little check-ins that sometimes sparks really thoughtful and sometimes hilarious conversations. And the best part, you don't have to sit and do this together or at the same time. You just each answer when you can, and then you unlock each other's responses whenever you feel like it. Magnus and I did a little quiz about how we handle stress, and let's put it this way, we learned a lot. These are little things that don't necessarily come up in everyday life, but they do help us to understand each other better. Paired just makes it easy to have time for real connections, which I find is really challenging, especially when you are very busy. It's not therapy. It's not like, oh, let's fix a relationship. It's about growing together and celebrate your relationship in a way that feels fun and fresh. If you ever said, let's talk more seriously, download the Paired app. Magnus and I have been using the premium version, and honestly, it's been a game changer for us. It's grounded in research, providing expert-backed advice in a fun and engaging way. Click on the link below to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off Paired premiums so you can maintain and deepen your connection with your partner. Thank you, Willabelle, for sending me this video where Blake Lively is introduced to the fact that she could be the mother of dragons. Yeah, so it's quite funny watching this now. I'm just going to share this little clip with you when Blake Lively was interviewed for The Age of Adeline and talked about the Game of Thrones. And at this point, she didn't watch it herself. But yeah, anyways, this is what happened.
Blake, are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Not yet. I haven't made that life choice yet,
Yeah.
but I'm really excited to. And everyone I know is like, oh, I'll watch every episode with you again for you. And I'm like, no, it's just for you,
Right.
because you guys are so obsessed. So yeah.
But I can totally picture Blake in the Game of Thrones world, right? Can't you?
As a dragon?
Yeah, maybe like you kind of have Mother of Dragon hair going in a good way.
Oh.
Yes, I think this is when that little seed was planted in Blake Lively's brain that she could be Khaleesi, the mother of dragon. Sorry, I haven't watched Game of Thrones. It wasn't my thing. But it's obvious to me that she didn't watch the end because, as some people pointed out, when she compared herself to the mother of dragons, the mother of dragons is killed in the end, and one of her dragons is flying her dead body around or something like that. So I don't think she really wants to end up like the mother of dragons. But anyways, I feel like we've seen so many times with Blake Lively that she doesn't have any creativity herself. She's just copying other people. And this is an example of that. She did not come up with that idea herself. This reporter came up with that idea for her. Okay, so Blake Lively keeps posting things on social media to make us forget that she is in this legal feud and that everyone kind of hates her right now. So I reported on this last week. I think she was there. That's when she was in this store where she was promoting Blake Brown, and everyone's like, oh, all these influencers that are supporting her. Turns out they were not real influencers. And one of you guys sent me this email pointing out that the latest YouTube video that was at the hair event is the sister of her personal assistant. The girl is Gay Tragalia, sister of Ryan and Blake's personal assistant, Sophia, who was also at the event pretending to be a random influencer. Both of the girls are related to Don Saladino. Remember Don Saladino, you guys? That is the personal trainer who told Blake that Justin Baldoni was fat shaming her when he had asked him how much Blake Lively weighed because he was supposed to carry her in a scene and he had a back problem. Then Don Saladino called up Blake and like, do you know what Justin said about you? He's asking how much you weigh. Don't you think that's fat shaming? We should call Ryan Reynolds and ask him what he thinks about it. And then let's all have a meeting and yell at Justin Baldoni for asking you weight, because that is real fat shaming. Anyways, Don Saladino was there and he was testing out all the mists with Blake and he was guessing which one would be Ryan's favorite. I remember Don was getting a lot of backlash online, so he had to close off his comment section on the Instagram. You can't comment on his pinned picture with Blake, but it's still up there. He did remove those pinned ones for a while, pretending that he didn't know Blake and Ryan, but now I think he feels it's safe to come out again and support her. I just feel like what he did to Justin Baldoni during that shoot was just so disgusting and so unnecessary. And such a, no, I just cannot stand people like that. Anyway, so now we know who was at that event with Blake Lively's hair products. In the meantime, Ariel, thank you for sending me this photo. So she found Blake Brown shampoo at the thrift store in Washington State. She says usually their Target store is donating everything they can to sell to the Goodwill thrift store. And there you can find Blake Brown, and it looks like it's $10. So yeah. Also, someone sent me this video with Parker Posey. As you might remember, Parker Posey was the other actress who was paired up with Blake Lively during that interview I did with them when they were both being really rude. Blake Lively was obviously the rudest one, but Parker Posey was really following Blake and doing exactly and mirroring what she was doing. And at the end of the video interview I did, she really rolled her eyes at me, and you can see it in the video. And now she's out there really wanting to get an Emmy for her performance in The White Lotus. So there's a round table at the Hollywood Reporter where she's put together with all these amazing actresses. One of them, Helen Mirren, the other one, Kathy Bates. And the way she talks makes me just go like, oh, I don't know. Let me know what you think about this. Listen to her talking about misogyny.
This double standard of women being in there, this misogyny is sad. It's like, it's a downer.
She's saying that it's sad and it's a downer when she talks about misogyny. I think it's so much sadder when you don't treat another woman right than what you're talking about men treating women right. I think it's much more sad when you are being mean to another woman who hasn't done anything to you, but just trying to be nice and sit there and interview you so you can promote your movie. That to me is really sad. And then she continues to talk all this like word salad. Okay, let me know, you guys, if you understand what this means.
I think the misogyny is so rampant. Yeah. And to be a dynamic character or a dynamic woman or even a dynamic person, I think is kind of outrageous right now.
What does that mean? Sometimes these actresses, and especially when she's sitting there with Helen Mirren, I adore Helen Mirren, Kathy Bates too. They're amazing actresses. They're up there on a completely different level. And hearing Parker Posey talk like this, and the fact is, I did love White Lotus, but I did not like her character. I think it was way over dramatic. I think her acting wasn't very good. I'm going to put it out there. And I actually tried to be really objective looking at her acting in The White Lotus. And I thought it was just bad. And then she talks about how social media is judging the way you look, and she's trying to be really entertaining and funny.
There's something very provincial, I think, that's happened with the social media and the Instagram and people being judged by how they look. And I feel like just like a need to be really entertaining.
So I did go in and look at her Instagram, and everything I could see was people like saying to her, "You're a mean girl. Why don't you apologize?" And you know what? I agree. I think she should have reached out. I think she should have said something, because I gave her an opportunity to say something to me, because I did go to a press conference. I did talk about that in an episode. I went to a press conference. I was on the second row. She could definitely see me. She made sure not to have any eye contact with me during that whole press conference. And I'm sure her publicist told her that I was going to be there, because they do that stuff. That would have given her an amazing opportunity to just say, "Hi, do you know what? I saw that interview I did with you with Blake Lively, and I'm sorry. I just see it now. It wasn't very nice, and I'm very sorry about that. I am not usually like that." You can just say something like that. It would be great. But she didn't. And now it's kind of too late. She's just pretending it didn't happen. And I know she's so aware of it, because I've heard so many people say that she's freaking out because of that interview that has come back to haunt her. And she is afraid that it's going to ruin her chances of winning an Emmy. Yeah, it's not that hard to admit that you did something wrong. I don't know why it's so difficult for some of these actresses or actors to admit that they did something bad or did something wrong, or they didn't treat people with respect. I mean, I have so much more respect for people who own up to their mistakes. Anyways, you guys, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And again, please go and check out my podcast. I really appreciate it. And I think it's a very interesting subject that I'm talking about. I would love to hear your opinions about it. So, yeah. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Awesome Talk. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.